Hello and welcome to the Success for Women show. I am Dr. Madeline Lewis, your host, and my mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Well, today's topic is redefining success, and my guest is Laquita Munley. Let me just give you a little bit of info about Laquita. Laquita is a devoted and proud Army wife, mother of five, and grandmother of six. She also operates in purpose and expertise as a transformational coach, mentor, and international speaker. Laquita's mantle is to charge others with the task of progressing into the best version of themselves. As a certified speaker, coach, trainer, and facilitator, Laquita seamlessly shifts from ministry to the marketplace with transformative messages on mindset and leadership that produces real life growth strategies. So, I'd like to bring on my guest tonight, Miss Laquita Munley. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Lewis. It is such a privilege to be here tonight.
Well, it is such a privilege to have you here. I mean, such interesting, when I was reading about you, your background is very interesting, and especially a lot of the topics that you talk about. But before we get started, I always give the audience the standard bio on my guests. But I always like to ask the question, tell us what you want us to know about Laquita Munley.
What I like people to know about me is this: that it's a bit of it's in my bio. I am a proud Army wife, and I am also a proud mother of five adult children and grandmother of six. And I highlight those things because there was a number of years in my life where I devalued all of that. The grandkids were nowhere in sight at the time. So, but I definitely devalued my position as wife and mother. And now that that's in my past and I understand better who I am and the purpose and the mandate that God has on my life, oh, those are the most valuable positions that I hold. And they are the foundation that make me great at the other things that I do as a minister of the gospel and as a speaker, coach, and facilitator. So if anyone who follows me or gets to know me, if you leave with nothing else, leave with this: Laquita is a proud wife, mom, and grandmother.
Yes, yes, that is awesome. You know, your background is definitely varied, some of the things that you do. And I know that, or as you know, there are a lot of different coaches out there.
Mhm.
Everybody has different, things that they call themselves as a coach. But you, I read that you are an independent certified coach. Now,
Yes.
why that type of coach? And what tell us what that means?
So that's kind of like a whole branding thing. Let me just be very transparent and honest. I'm
Okay.
independently certified through the John Maxwell team. And
Okay.
John is great, an amazing mentor,
Absolutely.
absolutely adds value. And I'm proud to be a JMTer. But as a JMTer, John also teaches us the importance of our identity and being our authentic self. So I just dropped the JNT portion and kept in the independently certified because you're right. There's so many coaches, and not every certification is worth the paper that it's printed on. And so when I put that in my bio, it causes people to ask the question as well. So I can bring clarity that, yes, I did invest in the thing that I believe God has called me to do. So I invested the time, I invested in the training, and I do have value to bring because I did go through a qualified course.
Mhm. So what motivated you to even become a coach? Why a coach? I mean, there's so many different areas. You could have gone in too. So why a coach?
Honestly, for a number of years, I ran from that. I did not want to do it at all. And it was through the urging of my coach. Coaches are valuable. And I had a coach, and I have a coach now. Um, and when my coach and I first met, his name is Marcus Ogden. And when Marcus and I first met, he was like, Laquita, you do so many great things in ministry. I traveled a lot internationally, um, with helping churches develop their leadership team, do leadership trainings, and all of this stuff. And he said, "Hey, why don't you translate those ministry messages and bring it over into the secular? Because it's the exact same thing that we do. You just have a biblical base to it." And at the time that he said it, that wasn't where my head was. Well, 2020 gave me a lot of time to reflect, like it gave everybody else a lot of time to reflect. And I found myself doing the coaching without being the coach, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I found myself in that position. Through ministry, you're always doing coaching, mentoring.
Absolutely.
But during 2020, um, active real estate investor, and I found myself coaching lots of young real estate investors, people who were interested in becoming real estate investors. And I was doing this almost every day, all day, and found great joy in it. And once again, Marcus said, "Hey, Laquita, why don't you think about going to get a certification and doing this full time?" And it just made sense.
Mhm. So, do you see that you have more? Do you have more women coming to you, or is it a mixture of both? What is your clientele like in your coaching
In
area?
the beginning, it was more men.
Okay.
In the beginning, it was more men because, as I said, in the beginning, it was a lot more focused towards real estate investing specifically,
Oh,
because it wasn't intentional. It was just happening. And
okay.
when I became intentional about it and really focusing in, okay, who do I want my target market to be? I was in ministry. I wasn't traveling around the world teaching churches how to be real estate investors.
Hmm.
I was traveling around the world building leaders. And when dealing specifically with women's ministry, it was helping women to identify who God had called them to be and to see value in your God-given role. That's where my heart was. That's where my passion is. I love real estate. Don't get me wrong. I love real estate.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
bring me a deal today and I'll take it.
So,
But my
do you
passion,
still do the real estate portion of it, or you kind of put that on the side?
it's more on the side. It's more a husband's focus. If someone wants coaching or training for it, yes, I will. But I had to learn to my niche. Like, what was my niche? What demographic did I truly want to reach? How did I want to reach them? And most importantly, why I wanted to reach them. And that took me back into the space of women specifically in the area of their identity
Hmm.
and understanding how to pursue purpose. Well, everything hinges on identity. And that is something that I've been doing since 2005. So I didn't see a need to go ahead and completely change everything about what I was doing to only focus on real estate. Real estate is good. Real estate earns money. I like it, but it wasn't my passion.
So I know that again, in reading about you, I read where you said that mindset is the foundation to growth. Tell
Yes.
us about that and what that means.
Everything that we do begins with a thought. And many years ago, I learned the process of change.
Hmm.
And the process of change goes think, say, do. What I think determines what I say. What I say determines what I do. What I do determines who I am.
Hmm.
So if we can get control of the thoughts that we think, we can't stop the crazy thoughts from coming, but we don't have to fester on them. We can set our meditation on things that are better, things that are greater. Everything that we do in our life, success or failure, starts with a thought. So when we get that thought life under control, then we have a better opportunity to map out a plan and to put principles in place so that we can walk in the direction of our desired result and achieve the goals that we want to achieve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why do you feel that that knowing who you are is so important? I know that, in listening to you talk about these things, I know that that's a part of it. But why do you think that's important, knowing who you are?
Everything hinges on our identity. Every single thing that we do hinges on our identity. I'll give you an example. When we were in the pre-show conversation, you and I have a military background. You're active duty, I'm civilian. But we both know that there's a very toxic culture within the military community where people identify their entire being based off of their rank, if you're a
Absolutely.
green suitor, or your GS or your GG status,
Yes.
what step you're in. And if you take that away, they'll fizzle away into nothing.
Oh my goodness.
That thought process began for me in that arena.
Hmm.
I am so much more than my husband's rank because I'm the dependent.
Right.
And when I became a GS employee, I am so much more than that. This cannot be the end all be all for me. I am so much more than that. I am so much more than, you know, uh, Daryl, Devonta, Denise, David, and Marquez's mom, right? I'm so much more than that. When you understand who you are and you are solid in that, you become unmovable, you become unshakable. The distractions won't get you down. I'm not saying they won't happen, but the distractions will not get you in a place where you remain stuck, stagnant, or want to turn your tail and run backwards.
Absolutely.
Everything that we do hinges on our identity. And when we know who we are,
Hmm.
oh, it's so much easier to craft out those core values. It's so much easier to put together the plan, or as we like to say in the kingdom, to write the vision and make it plain. I can't see the vision if I don't know who I am. But when I know who I am, and the key to that is knowing whose you are. When I know who I am, oh, it's everything. You become unstoppable.
Yeah. So, as a coach, though, how do you work this in with the people that you serve, with your clients? How do you, because like you say, everything begins in the head, it's a mindset thing. How do
Mhm.
you work that in? Because sometimes people get, for example, what you were talking about, the culture in the military, and the rank structure, and how people, I mean, even with the rank structure, sometimes if they're higher ranked than you, then they tend to treat you a certain way, or
Oh, yes, ma'am.
you're, because you're not at my rank, then
Mhm.
I may not even acknowledge you in some cases.
Exactly. We could be the same rank.
Yeah.
I've seen that where my husband was the same rank as someone else, but because they sat in certain seats,
Yes.
then that caused another issue. But we could talk about that one all day. I love that. But
Absolutely.
within my military community, helping people learn that your identity is not wrapped up in that uniform.
Hmm.
Your identity is not wrapped up in that GS or that GG rank. Your identity lies within Christ and who He created you to be and the people that He created you to reach, and how I'm able to do that, because not all of my clients are Christian.
Hmm.
So in my intake form, um, they're the qualifying questions, right? You get the background history, but the most important piece for me in that initial intake, client intake, is the DISC assessment, because a lot of people have no idea. They have no idea what their personality is, or they've taken one. It's been so long ago that we never take an account that we evolve over time,
Hmm.
that we mature, and the same person you were when you took that assessment 5 years ago was not the individual that you are today. you know so based off of the results of that assessment and the what they've given me in their initial intake, I am able to then craft questions for our initial first 3 sessions. And in
Okay.
those initial first 3 sessions, with the combinations of uh, the assessment results, what that person has told me their reason is for wanting the coaching services, then we're able to, it gives me a fuller picture on, okay, this is the direction I want to go with this particular client. But it varies from client to client. It's like there's not one cookie cutter answer because we're all such unique individuals.
Mhm, mhm. Now, you also say personal growth is intentional and it
Yes.
requires prioritizing. So, can
Yes.
you tell us what you mean by that? Because you know, a lot of us can't prioritize anything.
It's a discipline. It's a discipline that I had to learn
Hmm.
because we're not taught that in school. Yes, we get better at our craft.
Yes.
So we understand the necessities of the continuing education courses we need in order to keep our certifications in whatever field that we're in. We get that. You're on the job and the job says you got this training, biannual, annual, whatever training. We get that. And we think that that's enough. And it's not. It may make you a better accountant. It may make you a better real estate agent. Like, you know the laws, you know what's written in the manuals. But does it make you a better leader? And that's where the personal development comes in. Because what I like to share with my clients is we are all leaders. Don't care what you do. In any capacity, every human being, from the youngest child to the oldest human, is a leader in some capacity. Why is that? Because leadership is influence, and we all have influence over people in some arena. Now, I have to take personal responsibility on how my influence impacts those around me. And that's the intentional part. And if I want to have a greater level of influence and influence positively those that are around me, then I have to make sure that I become the best version of myself.
Right.
And that is intentional. And when we do that with our personal growth and development, it shows up and it shines in our career, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're a W-2 employee, where you clocking in every day and clocking out for someone every day. When we are intentional with our personal growth and development, it definitely sets us apart from the rest.
Absolutely. So tell me, do you feel that as women, we have a hard time prioritizing our life? And I say that because it's just that a friend, I was talking to a friend of mine just this morning, and she was just like, I am just so busy. I just don't have time to do. And again, it's because of prioritizing. So do
Mhm.
you think that as women, we have a harder time prioritizing our life?
We do. We do.
Yeah.
Let me just, yes.
You just juggle all these different balls in the air, and I mean, take on things that we really sometimes don't even need to take on, but we take them on anyway.
We take them on anyway.
Yeah.
It's that nurturing nature that we have.
Hmm.
And I will also say this, maybe not intentionally,
Hmm.
right? But society as a whole, even as progressive as we are today versus 50 years ago, society just has this expectation of women. And we put it on ourselves because we're a part of society.
Yeah.
It's not just men doing it to us,
Hmm.
that we are supposed to have octopus arms, and we're supposed to be the doers of all things that need to be done, and we're supposed to be the loving one, the nurturing. We are supposed to be able to do it all the time and never burn out, and
Absolutely.
making everyone else a priority, when the fact of the matter is self-care is not selfish. And when I say self-care, I had a really good friend of mine do a series with me not too long ago on LinkedIn about the 8 dimensions of self-care.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know it was that deep. But after going through that with her, I was like, whoa, self-care encompasses every aspect of my life. It's not the nails, it's not the day spa. I like my nails done. I like the day spa. I like the massage, but it's so much more than that. And it starts with prioritizing me above everything. And we do that in the simple daily task that we discipline ourselves to do,
Right.
and putting ourselves first. Because Dr. Tiffany Jenkins said this on one of my IG lives. She said, Laquita, as people of God, we're taught that we are supposed to always pour from a cup that's full.
Mm.
And I said, yes. She said, well, I teach my clients to pour from the saucer. Sis, I wanted to just jump up and run to Jersey and give that girl an offering.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
keep yourself so full that you pour from your overflow. And that's what self-care does.
Wow.
That's what self-care does. She teaches her clients that the importance as women, the importance of us taking care of ourselves so that we can show up the way we want to show up for everybody that we're connected to. But
Exactly.
if we don't prioritize ourselves and learn that it's not selfish, but it's necessary. So when
Exactly.
you're taking that quiet time to reflect,
Mm-hmm.
no, there's nothing else that's more important.
Absolutely.
This is
Absolutely.
the most important thing that you could be doing for everybody right now because you're recharging, you're resetting,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting what you need.
Say no sometimes too. That's a big
Yes,
problem too with some people. And I always tell anybody, no is a complete sentence.
yes,
And
it is. Yes,
learn how
it is.
to say no
No,
sometimes,
I like to tell people no is anointed. Very. No
Okay.
is anointed.
I like that. Yes. Wow.
But it is, you're right. It's a complete sentence. We don't have to give an explanation. No explanation required.
Yes.
Because when, like, so as a younger wife and mom, my husband has been firm in his no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't hesitate. And in the back of my head, I'm annoyed because why you get to just do nothing or pick and choose, and I don't. But I had that same choice. I was
Mm-hmm.
choosing not to exercise it, and he was quite all right
Right.
to let
Right.
me
Right.
just work myself into a tizzy. And then he would, he's like, you really need to sit down.
Wow.
Take some time. Go
Mm-hmm.
shopping. Do something. Just stop being busy in this house. And I would go and do shopping and come back, and I have a bag full of stuff for the kids. And
Mm-hmm.
his name, my husband's name is Ben. Ben would be like, you were supposed to be going out for a day for yourself. What did you bring back for yourself?
Okay.
And for the longest time, Dr. Madeline, I could not process that. I could not understand what he meant and why was he saying it. It seemed to be so selfish. And he was really trying to teach me that prioritizing me is important.
It's important.
It is important.
Yeah. And like you talk about the self-care, the thing about it is if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
That's
If
it.
yeah, if you let yourself go and you get sick or you're down, whatever, you can't take care of anybody else. And
Right.
that's why it's so I just never understood why it's so difficult for us to just sometimes back away and say, okay, like you say, I just need to take some time for me. I need some me time,
Mhm.
and just do it,
And
you
do
know,
it.
and do it.
You know,
Wow.
as women, we have that struggle, and it doesn't matter our ethnicity. We have that struggle. I will say this as an African American woman, a Southern African American woman from Mississippi,
Hmm.
we also not only are we
You are
fighting New Orleans, my husband is from New Orleans. All right.
okay. Yeah.
I'm from small town, from Macomb, Mississippi, about 2 hours outside of New Orleans, right on the, I'm
Wow.
closer to Hammond, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, closer
Familiar.
to Hammond.
Okay.
Growing up in the South as Black women, not only were we, encouraged to work ourselves to the bone, but we were also discouraged from seeking out certain aspects of self care.
Yes.
That was for other ethnicities. Other people did that.
Hmm.
Your mother did this, your grandmother did this, your great grandmother did this, and your auntie we have all of these strong Black women to look back at that was holding it together and holding things down,
Hmm.
not realizing that they had cracked under the pressure. We just didn't know it, and they didn't know how to express it. And I love the Lord, I
Mm-hmm.
love the Lord. Let me say it again. I love the Lord. But
Mm-hmm.
mental health care is anointed. It is anointed. And we have been taught that you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And so many of us have buckled under that pressure of trying to keep up that strong Black woman. Um, I'm not going to complain, or the godly wife praise her husband through, or praise her children through. We do all of that, but we also seek out the help that we need. We seek out the help that we need, and we get the help that we need, because the only way I can continue to show up as this godly woman is if I am healthy mentally, spiritually, physically.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have to take care of myself.
Wow. You are absolutely right, and it's just it's unfortunate sometimes that we don't do the self care. It really is unfortunate. But what I will say, I do know that you had a comment. Leslie Montgomery said that that's true. So totally agree with what you're saying. We are going to just take a brief break right now. We're going to go to commercials, some of our sponsors, and also play your commercial. And we'll come right
Awesome.
back and just let you share some more of your nuggets of wisdom. So
Awesome.
we'll be
Awesome. Thank
right
you.
back after the commercials. This is the Successful Women Show. Come back and listen to us some more.
As women, you and I will contribute more to our organizations, more to our families, and more to our communities. When we show up to rise up, everyone wins.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City, USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
Everything hinges on identity. It is the compass of our faith that aligns with the Holy Spirit to fulfill the Father's will. Wrapped up in identity is who we are, the purpose of our being, and every God-breathed promise that manifests as our success. Hello, I'm Laquita Monley, and I'm the author of Redefining Success, 8 Tools that I use to develop a growth mindset. In this amazing book, not only will I share with you 8 tools that I use for a growth mindset, but I'll also share the applicable principles based on God's word that you can easily implement in your life journey. So no matter where you are and no matter where you see yourself in the future, this book will be a tool that you need for your toolbox. Don't wait, get it today, and it can be found on Amazon by simply searching Redefining Success, 8 tools that I use for a growth mindset. Take care.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Successful Women Show, where my guest is Miss Maquita Munley. And we have been sharing, she has been sharing some great nuggets. I tell you what, I hope you all have been listening, maybe taking notes, because she has really been giving us some great information. And as you just saw, the promo for her book, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that too coming up. But before we do that, I have another question I wanted to ask you. You talk about redefining success, because that's what your book is all about. Tell us how you do that. How do you redefine success?
It's I had to initially realize that I needed to redefine success. That's a point. Sometimes my clients, they have a perception of what success is. And as we go through different exercises, we get to the place where I can clearly ask the question, who or what has defined success for you? And we let that question rest for a minute. It doesn't require an immediate answer. It actually requires some thought. Who or what has determined success for you in your life? And if the client comes to the conclusion that, wow, there has been outside circumstances, situations, people with great intentions in our life that helped us to come up with what success should look like.
Mm-hmm.
But is that what you really want? So where the client is in that moment, even for myself, where I am in this moment in my life, what does success mean to me? Is it money? Is it houses? Is it 401ks? Is it Roth IRAs? Is it NFTs? Is it crypto? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Is it the husband, the wife, the kids, the grandkids? What is it? The individual has to come to that conclusion. And it goes back to identity as well. What I have determined success means to me is wrapped up in my identity. And the honesty of it all is every individual, what success means to you will be wrapped up in your identity as well. What I thought success was as a 20-year-old young Army wife, and what I know to success to be for me today on this side of 50, as far as the East is from the West. But the woman that I am today, is the 401k significant? Yes. The IRAs? Yes. Mm-hmm. Retirements, investments, homes, that's important. But it's not what success is. For me, today, success is owning my time and being able to be the best version of me, to give from my abundance to my family, to be able to show up and be able to give and be present and available for my husband, for my adult children, because they need me just as much now as they did when they were younger. I didn't realize that when they were younger. And being honest, I need my mom. I need my daddy. They still need us. And my grandchildren need me. The people that I'm called to serve need me. And that's where success lies for me today. So with my clients, we go through this series of exercises, and it goes back to that identity. Because if a person tells you, oh, success is, I've got so many, X number of dollars in the bank, I've got all of these things, those are good things, Dr. Madeline. I'm not saying don't put emphasis and priority on that, because we have to live, we have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But if I take all of that away, then what? Where's your then what? If you
Absolutely.
take all of that away, are you still healthy, happy, and whole? Will you still find joy in the people that you're connected to? Will
Mhm.
you still find joy in the things that you are able to do? When we're only driven, when our success mindset is driven by materialistic things, that means the lack of the materialistic things will keep me in a dark place. So that success has to be something that is internal, and it is a result of knowing who I am, and it aligns with my core values.
So your tell us, you mentioned your core values. Tell us about those. What are your core values? And I know that you those are things that you probably discuss when you're sometimes with your clients,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can make sure that they understand what their core
What
values
their
are.
core values are, yeah. You
Hmm.
know, one of the, we walk through the definition of the core value, and sometimes you hear the word core values like, okay, I know what that is. But then when you're asked the question, I don't really know. Can you define that for me, right? Like, and we
Hmm.
walk through that. And so I give them an example. For me, one of my core values is my faith.
Hmm.
My faith and my love for the Lord Jesus is my foundational core value.
Hmm.
And out of my faith, then comes my family.
Okay.
And from there, my community. And from there, the last bit that I would say for my core value at that point is the opportunity um, to be evangelistic. So my faith, my family, my community, and then it's something that I do. My opportunity to be evangelistic. And so, why are those my core values? Those are the things that bring me joy. Those are the things that my world revolves around. Those are the things that I will do if you take every materialistic thing from me. It's what causes me to wake up in the morning. It's what causes me to continue to push and move and drive.
Hmm.
And when I break it down like that, it becomes easier for the client to understand, okay, either they have an answer or it's something that they have to take back and have homework on to go through. And because I mean, and it's not a bad thing, but some people honestly have no idea what their core values are, because again, it goes back to that lack of identity.
Wow. You're absolutely right. So now let's talk about your book, Redefining Success: 8 Tools I Use to Develop a Growth Mindset. So we all know from the commercial that your book can be found on Amazon. But talk to us about this book. What brought this book to you? What made you sit down and say, I want to do a book on redefining success, and then give people the tools to be able to do that?
It took over 10 years, Dr. Madeline.
That's the story there.
It was, I initially felt the need to write the book in 2010. We'd overcome some amazing challenges in 2010. My husband had just finished 3 back-to-back tours to Iraq. Um, he was suffering from PTSD. We had teenagers at the time, and we were stuck on Fort Hood, rapid deployment. We could not get away. We were stuck here for 7 years. And
Mhm.
in that time that he wasn't in Iraq, he was prepping. NTC, ROTC, out in the field for 30 days. And so we had spent 7 years of not really being a family, as it were. And so we went through a lot of challenges,
Mhm.
lots of challenges with raising our children. We went through challenges in our marriage. We went through challenges in our identity as well. It was during that time, that 7 years, that I realized I had no idea who I was. And so when my husband left, I was one person. When he came back, I was this completely different, radical Christian woman. So he left one crazy, came back to a different set of crazy. It was like, what is this? Well, by 2010, when we got to our duty station, the Lord said, okay, I'm going to give you some rest. And so he sent us to the UK because there was no rapid deployment out of the UK. Praise God. And we'd had a family meeting one Sunday after church, and our children let us know. We gave them, in the family meeting, we give them the open opportunity to express themselves. Don't be disrespectful, but you can express yourself freely in the family meeting. And they let us have it. They let us have it. While we were busy trying to figure out who we were, chasing promotion and earning, trying to make that mighty dollar because, we building wealth for the family, right? We're buying properties, we're setting up trust funds and, putting everything in trust, doing all these things that were the good things to do. But we were not giving them us. And they told us that.
Okay.
In that family meeting. And it came to because there was an opportunity for my husband to take a presidential assignment to my husband's military intelligence, to take a presidential assignment as a attaché in Turkey. Very prestigious. Great for the next rank. Great for the next rank. And we had told them that if we came to England, then Daddy would be home. And now Daddy's talking about leaving again. And you promised us we've moved away from everything we know. And now you're telling us this? Oh, no. And after that meeting, Ben and I had several conversations. And so it was like, wow, we messed up. Wow. We messed up a lot of stuff. And trying to get it right, we messed up. Not that he and I were at a place where we were trying to figure out how to come back together as husband and wife. And that was the goal, but we really had to fix it because our kids had just handed us our stuff.
Wow.
And there was nothing we could say about it in defense of our actions. Like, wow. And so as that first year went on and we learned to listen to them and give them opportunity to speak. The challenges were still there because they're kids and they were hurting. And so, of course, they're acting out. And now how do we respond? And what do we do? And I started journaling through that process. And that's how the idea to write the book, because what I thought success was and the way I was chasing after it, not only was it tearing up my family, my husband, my marriage, I was hurting my kids.
Okay.
And it wasn't the goal. If anything, the goal was to make things better for them, to give them the things that we weren't able to have and be able to take them to places that, we'd never been able to go to ourselves as young people, right?
Wow.
So it took 10 years to write the book because life kept happening in between. I kept learning lessons, but I kept journaling. I kept journaling through the process. And so finally in 2020, Ben is retired. He's still traveling because he's still intel. But the world is shut down. And so I had an opportunity to bring those things together. I hired a book coach so that, can help turn these journal entries into a book.
Right.
And I thank God for Coach Latoya Nishay. She really helped me get clarity and be able to bring certain aspects of my life into the book. And I found the right publisher, praise God. And the book has been out since I officially launched it June 4th of this year.
Wow. That is fantastic. So tell us, if you had one piece of advice that you would leave the viewers and with, what would that advice be, and why that particular piece of advice?
The one piece of advice would be understand your identity. Know your identity. And when we know that, pursue your purpose with a passion. And why? Because everything we do in life hinges on our identity. Our successes, our failures, the skills that we choose to learn, the paths that we take, every single thing we do hinges on our identity. And so it's important to know who you are and whose you are. And it doesn't matter how old you are at the moment that you hear this. Understand who you are.
Mhm.
Understand who you are, because then we won't be moved. We will not be moved, and we will be able with a passion when we know who we are.
Wow. So tell us also now how they can get your book again. Give us that. Tell us how they can reach out to you if they want to become one of your clients. Uh, just let us know just where you are, and if you have anything coming up, any events that you might have coming up again.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So I'm the viewers can reach me at my website, which is www.laquitamonley.com. I can also be reached on my social media platforms. I'm more active on LinkedIn than I am on the other platforms, but you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on my YouTube channel as well. And just reach out to me. If you send me a private message, I will respond as quickly as possible. If you reach out to me through my website, I generally am able to get back to those contact forms within 3 business days. So yeah, they can reach me there. And my book is on Amazon. And right now, for this show, I've actually set aside a few free copies, Kindle versions of my book. So with every show that I get to do in podcasts, I like to leave a free gift. And so the first 5 people that fill out that form, if you go to www.laquitamonley.com, right at the top of my homepage right now is a form that says free Kindle book. You put your information in there, and when we finish the show tonight, before I go to bed, I'll check those, and the first 5 will get a free copy, a Kindle version of my ebook.
And that's www.lakitamonley.com. I'm
Yes,
trying to put
ma'am.
it so we can run it across the screen for you. So I hope you all heard that. She said she has a free gift for you. So if you go to www.laquitamonley.com, you'll be able to get that free gift from her. Again, we've been listening to my guest, who is Miss Laquita Munley, and she is the author of Redefining Success and the 8 tools used to develop a growth mindset. So as you can see, the website is running across the bottom, www.laquitamonley.com. I want to thank you again for being here today. I mean, it has just been fantastic talking to you and just finding out some of the things that, again, we have in common too. So it's just been great having you share. Again, you've been listening to the Success for Women show. I'm your host, Dr. Madeline Lewis. And of course, if you'd like to reach out to me, my email is info@exwsi.com. My website is www.exwsi.com. If you do go to my website, make sure you download my free 3-part video series on 3 things every woman should do to position herself for executive leadership. Make sure as you're watching this episode that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this episode to make sure that others can get the benefit of these nuggets that we've gotten tonight, so that they can enjoy the same as we have done also. I'd like to let you know about the make sure that you stay tuned too for the Black Business Expo that will be coming up this month. It's from July 18th through the 24th. So make sure that you stay on the lookout for that so that you can tune in and watch. There are going to be some great speakers for that. And also the Black Business Expo is a large venue that they bring on all these entrepreneurs, business people to talk about different topics. But the expo is to raise, it's a fundraiser to raise funds for college kids going to school, and also for to get laptops to them. So it's for a good cause. Make sure that you tune in. Again, that's July 18th through the 24th. It starts at, I believe, about 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. in the morning. It goes, I think, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day for those 7 days. So you'll be able to watch it 24 hours straight. You get some fantastic nuggets from that. Also, again, you've been listening to the Success for Women show. We are here every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Dr. Madeline Lewis. My mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Again, I want to thank my guest, Miss Laquita Munley. Make sure that you go to her website, get that free gift at www.laquitamunley.com. And make sure you come back next week. Join us at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to all my viewers and my listeners. And as always, I want you to be well and stay safe out there. And before we go off, we'll show her commercial again for her book, so that you can make sure that you go to Amazon.com or either to her website so that you can purchase her book. Again, thank you for viewing us tonight. Thank you to my guests. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure being here.
Thank you.
Everything hinges on identity. It is the compass of our faith that aligns with the Holy Spirit to fulfill the Father's will. Wrapped up in identity is who we are, the purpose of our being, and every God-breathed promise that manifests as our success. Hello, I'm Laquita Munley, and I'm the author of Redefining Success, 8 Tools that I use to develop a growth mindset. In this amazing book, not only will I share with you 8 tools that I use for a growth mindset, but I'll also share the applicable principles based on God's word that you can easily implement in your life journey. So no matter where you are and no matter where you see yourself in the future, this book will be a tool that you need for your toolbox. Don't wait, get it today, and it can be found on Amazon by simply searching Redefining Success, 8 Tools that I use for a growth mindset. Take care.
The Black Business Expo is changing my life. This year, they are giving away laptops and even $5,000 in cash to students just like me. I'm Alexis, and I want to go to college to fulfill my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Help the Black Business Expo going to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com and also becoming a vendor, a sponsor, or donating.
I don't know a single industry that cannot generate news coverage. The reason why you see stories about accidents or investigations, murder, politics, because those stories are easily accessible to the newsroom every day. But what's not easily accessible are the stories that come in the community, that come from you. I want you to come and learn how easy it is to get news coverage so that news will have a better balance. Get the email of the assignment desks of the ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliates. At least you are posting to your audience, whether you're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of them. That's your television audience. And you have to treat it that way.